In a time where myth and history intertwined, a legendary king emerged. Arthur, a name destined to be remembered for ages. His story, a blend of chivalry, magic, and epic quests, has captivated the hearts and minds of people for centuries, embodying ideals of honor, bravery, and justice that transcend time. The legend of King Arthur begins in a Britain torn by war and chaos. The Roman Empire had long since withdrawn from the island, leaving a patchwork of warring tribes and petty kings. In this turbulent time, a great leader was needed, someone who could unite the land and bring peace. That leader would be Arthur, though the details of his origins are as mysterious as the man himself. According to the most popular version of the legend, Arthur was the son of Uther Pendragon, a powerful warlord. Uther was besotted with Igraine, the wife of another nobleman. With the help of Merlin, a wise and powerful wizard, Uther used magic to disguise himself as Igraine's husband, and on that fateful night, Arthur was conceived. Upon his birth, the infant Arthur was taken by Merlin to be raised in secret, far from the intrigues and dangers of Uther's court. Arthur's early years were humble, raised by Sir Ector, a loyal knight, who treated him as his own son. Arthur had no knowledge of his royal lineage, but fate would not allow him to remain in obscurity for long. When Uther died, Britain was left without a king and the land fell into further turmoil. Merlin, knowing that the time had come, arranged for a test that would reveal the true king. A sword, Excalibur, was embedded in a stone, and it was declared that only the rightful king could pull it free. Many knights and nobles tried and failed, but when young Arthur, then a mere squire, attempted the feat, the sword slid from the stone as if it had been waiting for him. With Excalibur in hand, Arthur was proclaimed king, much to the astonishment of the assembled lords and knights. Yet, even as he took the throne, Arthur knew that his journey was only beginning. As king, Arthur's first task was to unite the warring factions of Britain. He gathered around him a group of the noblest and bravest knights in the land, forming the legendary Round Table. The Round Table was not just a symbol of unity, but a revolutionary concept here. All were equal, and decisions were made together. These knights, each with their own tales of valor and virtue, became the embodiment of chivalry. Among them were Sir Lancelot, the greatest of all knights; Sir Gawain, known for his strength and loyalty; Sir Percival, pure of heart; and Sir Galahad, the perfect knight. Under Arthur's rule, Camelot, his capital, flourished. It was a place of beauty and justice, where the ideals of the Round Table were upheld. But even in this golden age, shadows loomed. The most famous of these shadows was the affair between Queen Guinevere, Arthur's beloved wife, and Sir Lancelot. Their love, though passionate, was forbidden and ultimately tragic. It would sow the seeds of discord among the knights and lead to the downfall of Camelot. Beyond the courtly intrigues, the legend of King Arthur is also a tale of quests, the most famous being the quest for the Holy Grail. The Grail, said to be the cup from which Jesus drank at the Last Supper, was the ultimate symbol of divine grace. It was said that only the purest of knights could find it. The quest for the Grail took Arthur's knights on a journey, not only through the physical world, but through the spiritual one as well. Many knights failed, but Sir Galahad, the purest of them all, achieved the quest, glimpsing the divine and securing his place in legend. Yet, even as these noble deeds were being done, the forces of darkness gathered. The most dangerous of these forces came from within Arthur's own family. Mordred, Arthur's son or nephew, depending on the version of the tale, harbored deep resentment against his father. Whether spurred by personal ambition or the manipulation of the sorceress Morgan Le Fay, Mordred would ultimately betray Arthur, leading to the king's tragic end. The final battle, known as the Battle of Camelot, was a devastating clash between Arthur's loyal knights and Mordred's forces. In this battle, Arthur and Mordred faced each other in single combat. Though Arthur killed Mordred, he was mortally wounded in the process. As he lay dying, Arthur was taken to the mystical Isle of Avalon, where, according to legend, he would rest until Britain needed him again. With Arthur's passing, the golden age of Camelot came to an end. The Knights of the Round Table were scattered, the unity they had fought for shattered by betrayal and loss. But even in death, Arthur's story did not end. The prophecy of his return, the once and future king, gave hope that one day he would come back to lead Britain again. The legend of King Arthur, though filled with magic and myth, speaks to universal human experiences, the struggle for justice, the pain of betrayal, the pursuit of higher ideals, and the tragic consequences of human flaws. Over the centuries, this legend has been told and retold, each time adding new layers and interpretations, yet always returning to the core themes of honor, bravery, and sacrifice. Historians continue to debate whether there was ever a real Arthur, a historical figure who inspired these stories. Some suggest that Arthur was a Roman British leader who fought against the invading Saxons in the 5th or 6th century. Others believe that the tales of Arthur are entirely fictional, a tapestry woven from the myths and legends of various cultures. Yet, the truth of Arthur's existence is almost irrelevant to the power of his story. The legend of King Arthur has inspired countless works of literature, art, and film. From Sir Thomas Malory's Le Morte d'Arthur, which consolidated many of the Arthurian tales, to modern adaptations like T.H. White's The Once and Future King and the cinematic interpretations by directors like John Boorman and Guy Ritchie. Arthur's story has proven to be endlessly adaptable, reflecting the values and concerns of each generation. In the end, the story of King Arthur is not just a tale of a king and his knights, but a reflection of the human condition. It is a story that reminds us of the nobility we strive for, the mistakes we make, and the hope we carry that, even in the face of failure, we can rise again. As long as these themes resonate, the legend of King Arthur will continue to live on, inspiring and captivating audiences around the world, just as it has for centuries. So whether Arthur was a real king or a creation of collective imagination, his legend endures, a timeless story of courage, loyalty, and the quest for a better world. In the hearts and minds of those who hear it, the spirit of King Arthur and his Knights of the Round Table remains alive, a beacon of hope and a reminder that greatness is not just about power, but about the ideals we choose to uphold.